Okay, looks like they are off. Charlieboy stream looks like it's a little bit ahead, heading to Flashman and Quickman for Prodigy.
Always nice to see a little bit of a deviation in routes. Both stages are usually pretty quick, no pun intended. Both stages also offer a free E-Tank. The only real difference being, in my mind anyway, is that in the Flash stage you have a quick opportunity to check the crash walls for their weakness, which I did see Charlieboy doing, and it is not Buster, which I'm sure the chat will be absolutely thrilled about, because we hate seeing things weak to Buster around here, I hear.
I feel... Oh, are those Fat Fans?
Oh, those are Fat Fans, and those are Buster Immune Fat Fans on top of it, with tin cans too. It looks like Prodigy found himself in a fairly difficult Quickman stage this time around. He's making his way. He's already had to use his E-Tank, and he's definitely losing his health quickly because he's come across some very tough enemies in these tight corridors.
Yeah, apparently both of these early stages, heavy with the Fat Fans, we're having a little bit of an easier time just because there weren't so many right in a row. But he also kind of demonstrated one of the things that I was going to say earlier. Both of these stages give you the opportunity to grab an E-Tank, but depending on what happens in that last room of Flashman stage, you're not always going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. Those Fat Fans in there just couldn't stay up top long enough to get over there.
Yeah, that's very true. The Flash stage E-Tank is not 100% guaranteed. It's more like 90%, but there's a couple of things, like we saw with them fan guys. You can't get it. You just can't unless you have something to kill them with. They're immune to Buster, so I don't think skill even becomes enough of a factor to allow somebody to get that E-Tank at that point. And unfortunately, Charlieboy has taken a death to his first Robot Master, which is ironically Quickman. Meanwhile, Prodigy made short work of Bubble Man over there on Quick Stage.
Yeah, Charlieboy able to bring it back. That's a tough Quickman. He had shooting out a lot of boomerangs, and he has that really high jump that could just take him off screen, making him difficult to hit.
Yeah, and he wasn't even taking very much damage from the Buster there. He was, of course, vulnerable to it, but certainly not weak to it. Now Prodigy's gonna quickly find out what the struggle is in the Flash stage here. I was talking with Prodigy just before the race started, and he was commenting that I made this seed, so it should be pretty free. I don't think it's gonna be the case this time, though. This is looking kind of obnoxious. We're seeing two stages in a row on both sides of the screen here that have Buster Immune fan guys. Ooh, that's rough. I almost feel bad.
Yeah, these are two fairly crucial stages. It's going to be interesting to see where the runners go from here. Just seeing if they make this different decision based on thinking that they might be behind based on how long it takes to get through these two, which are usually two of the quicker stages that they can choose. Yeah, see Charlieboy also having to pop that E-Tank to get through the same section where Prodigy had to. So it looks like after the two stages that runners tend to go to first because they can pick up E-Tanks in both of them, our runners are going to be finishing up, taking a much longer time than anticipated, and with no E-Tanks.
Wow, very, very close fight there by Talentless. I'm actually a little impressed with the ending of that. He did get a little lucky, and Quickman stuck himself in the corner there, but he caught on to it really quick.
Prodigy deciding to go. Oh yeah. Sorry, I really like the Armored Armadillo song. Prodigy decided to go to Metal Man.
probably for that E-Tank, too. Plus, he has the item 1, so he can go for the zips here. I don't know if he's going to be able to. Looks like a short duration and a painful frog here. Looks like he's going to opt against it, which is probably a pretty smart move, because with the type of item 1 it turned out to be, and those little tiny frogs for obstacles, it's probably just going to waste more time than anything and end up not even succeeding. So, very good move, good call, I should say, by Talentless there. Meanwhile, Charlieboy moving over to the bubble stage. I'm not sure if this is like just his regular order or whatever, but ooh, we got some toothpaste launchers right from the get-go. Those are always fun with these gaps. They can make the gaps. Oh, and shrimp too. Two enemies that can make the gaps rather difficult to cross without damage boosting, and sometimes even with.
Yeah, exactly. And the toothpaste dispensers can be tough because when you've just got Buster like that, it can be difficult to actually land a hit on the base to get past them.
Talentless scooping up the extra E-Tank there in the metal stage. Since there's 2 in the stage, might as well. He's going to deboost and use his item 1 to get across that gap. Normally you can jump that gap with a couple of pause buffers, but in such a dangerous area, especially having item 1, it's always a better idea to go with the strats we just saw.
Yeah, especially dealing with those Metroids, which are respawning and can spawn anywhere. Definitely a situation where it's better to take it safe than sorry. And, of course, Metal Man in Metal Man stage, this is even randomized.
And he gets it. Charlieboy pulled off the Buster-only version, I believe, of the Bubble Zip just a minute ago here. Probably my favorite zip in the entire game.
I wonder why.
Can't imagine. Yeah, Metal Man and Metal Man stage. Is this even randomized? Oof.
Yeah, getting a bit of continued route divergent. Prodigy going into Airman stage while Charlieboy finishes up Bubble. Seems to have a pretty kind Woodman in Bubble Man stage there, deciding to keep his shield down for quite a while.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me. It might have something to do with the water physics, I'm not sure, but normally after Woodman has his 4 leaves raise up into the sky, he'll throw his shield, jump, and get ready to do his next thing, but there was a really convenient delay there.
Again, that's just another thing that can happen in the randomizer. Sometimes you get a really friendly boss AI, and sometimes you get not so friendly boss AI. You can have a Woodman where he essentially constantly has his shield up, and you have to basically damage yourself within the shield just to do any damage on him, or you know, you get a Woodman like that.
Ooh, looks like Charlieboy did get the zip on Metal stage. First try, no less. Tell he's done that before.
And it's definitely going to help him to make up a little bit of time here. I think Prodigy is technically slightly ahead, but at this stage it's kind of difficult to tell. They've got the same number of Robot Masters now.
Yeah, it's hard to say at this point. It's really hard to say for the most part until the Wily stages, unless somebody does Crash or Wood stage at a really weird time, because they're just the longest stages. But Prodigy made really quick work of the air stage here, and it was not an easy one either, but he had some very smart item 1 usage to hop over a lot of the tin cans and the rabbits there. He didn't have to deboost very much at all to get through the stage, picked up a little health, and found himself with a nice, easy flash fight at the end, too.
Yeah, Charlieboy unfortunately taking a death there in Metal Man stage, failing to get the pause buffer across that last gap, and I think he got sniped by a Metroid partway through the jump.
He's opting not to go for the E-Tank, which could be because of that death. He probably doesn't want to waste the time or potentially die trying to get back after grabbing it. Can't say I blame him.
Well, he died skipping the E-Tank. He was trying to go straight across the gap when he got knocked into it by that Metroid there. So he was skipping the E-Tank either way, probably just trying to make up some time.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine after those first two stages, both of the runners probably think that they have a chance of being behind.
Yeah, I would only assume the worst in either of their shoes. Little do they know, they're actually not too far apart.
Now, I'd estimate that Prodigy is maybe half a stage ahead right now, just because Charlieboy took that death, but still really close. Charlieboy opting to go to Heatman next. Usually a later stage for most runners.
Did he? I didn't notice. Did he pick up item 2 at that last stage?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's check.
No, he did not. Okay. That's what I usually look for when I expect somebody to go to the heat stage next, because of the Yoku section.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little surprising they decided to go there without item 2. I don't know if it was a mistaken stage selector, if he just didn't feel like looking for it. Maybe he expects it to be here. Nice item 3 clip in Heatman for Charlieboy. Avoid no shrimp.
Charlieboy's going for the standard Yoku blocks, and he even knows how to pull off the little clip to begin it there. Earning himself a little street cred with the Buster Only guy.
I'm sure he did that just for you.
I can only hope so. Here we got Prodigy going for the crash zip. Looks like it might be a little precise here, but certainly worth going for. Because those 3 platform screens it skips, they can be a nightmare. And some of the enemies we've seen already in this randomizer, we already know that he does not want to see them up there on those platform screens, especially those Buster Immune fan guys.
Charlieboy finishing up, or trying to finish up Heatman in Heatman. Again, is this even randomized, having to pop another E-Tank. Meanwhile, Prodigy did get that zip off, even with the slow-moving item 1, so congrats to him for that.
Seems he has found out that wood is vertically reversed, meaning he'll have to press down to fire upwards, which is just terrible on ladders.
I think it was horizontally reversed as well, but managing to get past those frogs there on that ladder, which can really be tough to get past in some scenarios. Oh, and Charlie getting screwed on Woodman stage.
Drills and monkeys everywhere, and they are not our favorite space monkeys. They seem incredibly rude.
And this is just lag central with those screws. Not too terribly difficult to get through, just really annoying.
Ooh, Charlie does not have the flash stopper at this point, so he's going to have to take on the hot dogs the old-fashioned way here.
Meanwhile, I was looking at Charlie. I didn't even see who the boss was that Prodigy just took out.
Neither did I. That was so fast. I'm going to assume it was Crash Man, because this isn't even randomized. But I really don't know. Anyone in the chat want to fill us in? We're slacking, and I apologize.
Meanwhile, it looks like Charlie's going for Goodwood.
We have Unrelated Pants in the chat here telling us it looked like Airman. I believe him. I totally believe him, because we definitely have not seen Airman yet.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And Charlie pulls off the good wood zip, using that charged heat to cut out the delay after death. Just instantly coming to the next checkpoint here, and he finds Crash Man in the wood stage.
Prodigy finding that air shooter seems to be a bit OP against those hot dogs. Deciding not to go through for Goodwood, just going through proceeding through the stage normally.
I was having a little bit of trouble with my feed there, but it looked like Crash Man was in fact Dumb Crash, who doesn't even attack. You can just buster him down and stand still. Ooh, Charlieboy taking a death right in the beginning. Oh, it might have been intentional for the game over.
I'm thinking because it doesn't even look like he went to. It doesn't even look like he tried to jump there.
Yeah, like he went to cross, and then I think he realized what enemy he saw and said, "You know what? I need more lives than this." Because when you see certain enemies in the air stage, you instantly know this is gonna suck. So I think that realization hit him when he just went with the optimal game over.
Yeah, that's one of those tactical moves that you have to make sometimes, is whether or not you'll be able to get through the stage on one life or not, and if you want to chance it or not.
Talentless finds the air shooter to actually be Dumb Crash's weakness there. It was a pretty good guess. Definitely gonna pick up a couple of seconds there in that fight.
Charlieboy was down to very little health, was hoping to find something that'll be the weakness to those tin cans. Still hasn't found something to one-shot him yet, though.
Oh, and looks like wood is gonna do it. I don't know if there's always something that will one-shot those things, but when there is, it is so very nice, because they're hands down the worst enemy to be put in a position where you're forced to attack them. Unless, of course, they die in one shot to Buster, but that's rare.
Talentless going for the exclusive heat zip. I think he's going to end up just going past it, though. It's kind of difficult with those birds in the area, plus item 1 moving as slow as it is.
Bird trolled right out of it. That was such perfect timing from that bird, too. I think he really would have had it without that bird.
Yeah, I think those birds are one of the enemies that are just as annoying in a normal vanilla play as they are in Randomizer.
Charlieboy playing it as safe as he can with that item 2 there. And we got Talentless going for another zip on heat, where you're actually able to use item 3 because the only gap between the wall and the ceiling is a one-tile gap, being the ladder.
That was actually a good strategy used there. He was able to take out those shrimps with a crash, and fortunately they both gave him a drop, so they didn't respawn until the drops disappeared, so he had plenty of time to go up there and get the zip.
I gotta say, it makes me really happy to have seen both runners in one race of this randomizer actually doing the Yoku blocks on heat. Kudos to both of the runners for that. Because a lot of people really don't even know the Yokus, and I don't blame them for not wanting to learn them. They suck. They're easier than they seem to be at first glance, but you have to know them in order to do them right.
Yeah, if you're gonna do them well, you have to have the pattern pretty well down. And you don't lose that much time. You can get. It's not like it's something that you can't get consistent at. But like for me playing the vanilla game, I never did the Yoku block section, so I had to learn that for Randomizer because I couldn't count on having item 2 there.
Just another of many perks of the Randomizer, forcing people to learn new strats.
That it does. Charlieboy getting the crash sip. Prodigy making his way to the Wily stages. I think there's some game, or rather, that we like to play around this time.
Yeah, I believe there is some type of game or another that we usually play with the chat once we get to this stage of the game here. It has something to do with a dragon, and oh, I know what it is.
This game has dragons in it?
This is Skyrim. That's part of the randomizer. No, the game we play is, of course, to guess the colors and now the weakness as well of the dragon in the Wily 1 stage. So, out there in chat land, get your guesses in. I'm gonna go for Vanilla Dragon, and I'm gonna go with the Buster weakness.
Oh god, the most boring possible thing. I'm gonna go with
exciting.
I usually go with orange. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna say light blue for the color, but I'm gonna keep with Crash Bombs as weakness.
Always go with Crash. It's funny because, you know, the dragon is vulnerable to Crash way more often than we tend to realize. I've noticed many times where either myself or the runners in question will find something else first and just kind of stick with it, but then during the credits when we see the damage table, I'll see like a 6 or something next to Crash for the dragon.
Yeah, it finally seems to be weak to it fairly often. It's also good because coming out of this room that Prodigy's about to go into, you usually either still have item 1 or you might switch to Flash in order to get past this section depending on what enemies are there. And Crash and Metal are the only 2 offensive weapons that are on that same side of the menu. So I like to go to Crash just because it's slightly less menuing than otherwise going over and trying to find Buster or another weakness on the other page.
Alright, Charlieboy is moving into Wily 1, and we can see the dragon now. Looks like my guess wasn't terribly far off, but that pink is not standard issue. And the green might be a little lighter than standard issue, so I'm definitely wrong there.
Look like Prodigy looking out with the Metal Blade weakness right off the bat against the dragon. That's always nice to see.
Looks like we didn't have any metal weakness guesses in the chat, but we could always see something else be effective against the dragon with Charlieboy getting up to the fight soon.
Absolutely true.
Now, is that just me, or is Charlieboy's stream a little frozen there? Oh, it's moving again. Never mind. It might just be me. I need to refresh this again. I seem to be having issues with this.
No, that's not just you. I'm trying to make sure that they were a little synced. Charlieboy's stream was a little bit ahead of Prodigy's, according to their timers.
What I'm seeing shows him about 4 or 5 seconds is actually behind. Alright, Talentless is coming into the Pico fight while we got Charlieboy coming up to meet the dragon. And Talentless finds the Buster to work on the Pico. That's a rarity, and for me anyway, that is a very joyous occasion. Ooh, and Buster works on the dragon too. That was my guess.
Oh wow! It looks like it was more effective than the Metal Blade even.
I think it was the true weakness. I can't wait to see the damage table at the end to find out. I don't know why, but I really love looking at the damage table at the end of every seed. It is totally my thing. What was weak to Buster and how much?
It's actually a really neat feature to have at the end. The two streams should be about synced up now.
Yeah, they're very close now. That's much better. So we saw Charlieboy entering Wily 2 actually before Talentless exited Wily 2. So even though it looks like Talentless has a pretty comfy lead here, and he may maintain it, I don't want to curse him, but we still got Wily 4 coming up here, which lately around here has been the decider for quite a few matches. So it could be anybody's game yet.
Yeah, it truly isn't over until the alien goes down with when it comes to this. There's always some surprises you could end up with that'll even it up, especially when we get to these later Wily stages. That, and depending on their E-Tank management when I get to the refights.
Getting some good musical buster through Wily 3 there from Talentless. And I wish I could name off the top of my head what the song was we were hearing. It's so familiar and I know it, but I can't even think of which game it was from.
It looks like at this point we are, what, 3 for 3 Buster Week Wily bosses?
Yeah. Yeah. Figures. I generate the seed for other people to play. They get the results I really want.
Well, I think it might just be trying to even things out after those fat fans in the first 2 stages.
Fair point. That was a very rough start to this seed. Talent was doing some nifty little item 3 maneuvers on these ladders to give himself a bit of a boost, so he can jump up off the screen and he can grab the ladder pretty high up, and he can also, I believe, press the down button to grab the ladder and get himself a little bit more of a vertical boost after the screen transition. It looks like here he's going for a zip that can essentially skip the next screen, placing him already at the top, like so, ready to grab the ladder and move right along. There's a similar zip for this screen as well, but he may not have had enough item 3 or just didn't want to go for it.
Oh no, Charlieboy getting a little too close to those spikes. Prodigy not having too trolly of a enemy placement in these elevator rooms. No enemy at the bottom there means he can't damage boost off of it, but getting that item 2 across, quickly making his way through the room. It was pointed out in chat that no, we still do not know what the wall weakness is. We just know that it's not Buster. So they will at least have to switch to another weapon at one point in the Wily stages.
Alright, now it's time to figure out the weakness to the crash walls and the boo beams, of course. Talentless going to go ahead and check wood and metal first, because if it's either of those for the boo beam directly, then that's a few walls you actually don't have to destroy. He's finding metal to be the weakness to the crash barrier itself. Now to figure out one for the boo beam. He goes for the Buster first, and the way things have been going in this seed, I can't blame him in the least. He's going to go for charged heat. Nothing doing so far. Bubble tinking off of it. E-Tank not being the weakness. Quick! We find Quick to work.
Sorry, I had a phone call on my end. Oh, awesome! Crash. Quick Boomerang, the weakness for the Boo Beam.
Yep, Quick Boomerang takes it out and does a pretty good job. Looked like it was only like 4 or 5 shots with it per boo beam.
Like that quick boomerang is one of my favorite weapons.
I could be wrong, but I think we have actually some more Mega Man 10 music here in the refight stage. I want to say that this is Wily Stage 2 for Mega Man 10, but I could definitely be wrong. Of course, anyone in chat who knows, please do correct me.
Yeah, it's one of the things I just depend on chat to come up with. The hive mind of chat is stronger than mine. Prodigy having a little trouble cutting through these bosses here in the refights.
Ah, it's from Final Fantasy, apparently. I'm not sure if it's Final Fantasy 1. Probably. I know the song. That's what bothers me. Is like I played a lot of the games that these songs are from, but it's been so very long that I just know the music, but cannot pinpoint what it's actually from. Well, Talentless is more than halfway done his refights. I think he picked up the pace after them first 2 bosses pretty well, keeping his health full too.
Yeah, he's not having much trouble at all on the flat ground of the refight arenas. Oh, good crash against Airman there. Looks like Charlie's trying to farm a bit. Yeah,
I don't think he knows the crash barrier weakness, and obviously he doesn't know the boo beam weakness either. So he's probably a little nervous. Doesn't want to end up getting another death or 2 on this fight of all fights, because this is the hardest hitting fight to die on, I think.
It is really punishing. Because the weaknesses are separated between the walls and the boo beam, usually it's a little bit less punishing than in the vanilla game, but still punishing.
I find it to be even more punishing depending on the situation, because in the randomizer, the crash walls actually do respawn if you die.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if that's intentional or if it's every seed, but in the seeds that I have died on this fight, I have found all of the crash walls to be intact upon returning without getting game over. Alright, so Talentless is entering the final stage here. It's time to play the second round of our favorite game around here, and that is to guess the colors of the alien's body and head, as well as to take a jab at what the weakness might be. Considering the alien only has 1 weakness, it's a little more rewarding to get this one right. I'm gonna go with purple body, red head, crash weakness.
I'm gonna say it's just gonna be green, but let's see, say air weakness. A part right.
As was I. We got a red head. Oh, thank you for not being bubble weak. Nor quick. Ooh. It looks like it's gonna be the crash weakness. No? What did we miss?
Charged heat. Didn't see him use and it's heat.
It's charged heat. Okay, so I got a third of it. I got a third of it right. It counts for something. Lazy Werebear gets a third as well with that green body guess.
And with an official SRO time of 34 minutes 42 seconds, Prodigy's going to take this first match. GG. So keep a lookout on Prodigy's screen for those weaknesses in the credits while Charlieboy finishes up his match. Charlieboy finding that bubble layout weakness.
And he quickly finds the quick weakness as well for the second phase of the machine fight. He's moving on to the final stage to face our Christmas-themed alien.
Charlie going for that item 1 skip here to get through this hallway. It looks like he's determined to get it, going back to refill item 1 just to make sure.
Wants to finish with that good swag note. And even if he, well, I don't want to curse him. Let's let him do the thing. Ooh, okay, he's not doing the thing. What I was gonna say was, even if he ends up soft locking it on accident, it would still be a nice swag finish because that's something we don't see very often.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still making decent time, and he'll, you know, there's no reason not to go for it now at this point with he knows his opponent's already finished up. Might as well go for the swag points. Always go for the swag points.
Absolutely.
Quickly finding that charge heat to work though. Wasn't expecting it to. Started to was already ready to switch weapons away from it. And finishing up with an official SRO time of 38 minutes 32 seconds, Charlieboy finishes up his match as well. GG.
Oh no, I was watching Charlieboy too closely and I missed the damage table.
I did too.
Oh man.
Maybe he goes ahead and lets it play through while they start getting the other seed ready.
Yeah, I believe one of them said they needed a few minutes between races here anyway, so I don't mind watching. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's not miss it. Miss it? I can speak, I swear. All right, so Dragon only had 1 on everything there, but it did have Buster. Pico was 7 on Buster, 9 for Crash. I saw 1 for Guts Tank on Buster there, and we saw no other Buster stuff going on.
Did see that Crash was even stronger against Pico Pico. I think it had a 9 versus Buster's 7. I mean, it's still pretty powerful either way, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that Crash is... Ooh, that's good.
So it looks like we're not going to have as big a break as we thought, so we should be getting together fairly soon once both of the runners get their seeds loaded up. If you're hoping for that game 3, send Charlieboy your energy.
Alright, looks like we are ready to get the second race underway here. Both our runners are ready and on the same seed here, which happens to be a Half-Life seed.
Yep, just waiting for the stream to catch up. We should be off momentarily. I'm always interested in seeing how these second games go, as you wonder if the person who's down a match is going to take some more chance they might not have taken otherwise, or if the person who's up might try to play it a little bit more safely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen quite a few matches in this tournament where the runners will be